This is lecture number 4, Communicating Online Using Email for Business 219. Some statistics on email. First of all, email has been around, in fact, since the late 1970s, as it was created by ARPA during their development. However, it has not been publicly available until the early 90s with the public introduction of the internet. So that's when email became available to most people. As of 2020, there are approximately 4 billion email accounts worldwide. Current growth rate shows that by 2023, it will be approaching 4.4 billion. Now, another interesting statistic is that about 45%, or nearly half, of all the email you receive is unsolicited or spam. We'll be talking about that in the last part of this lecture. So, why is email so popular? Uh, Obviously, one of the biggest reasons is speed of delivery. It's virtually instant, no matter where you're at, as long as you have internet access. It has low or no cost, and sending content and attachments is free. Accessibility with mobile computing, such as smartphones, it is now accessible anywhere that you have internet access or through your smartphone. It's convenient now that you can have it virtually anywhere you're at, and it's of course delivered immediately. And ease of management. Most email apps are very user-friendly and intuitive, which simply means that you don't have to have any special training to use these applications. The email addressing standard, which we have looked at before in our first lecture, as you probably recall, was created by ARPA in the early 70s, so it's actually been around for quite some time. The username at hostname.domain. So that is what the email address consists of. The example down there, john.doe@gmail.com. And the examples of the top hosts are Gmail, Yahoo, Mail, and Outlook.com. So an email client is a term which refers to any software that's used to create, send, and receive email messages. Email clients come in two basic varieties. The first type is installed. Now that is an application or software installed on the physical computer or mobile device. The second type, and probably more common, is web-based. And that is a program that runs in a browser. And as you recall, a browser might be Google Chrome or Apple Safari or something similar to that. And it uses a language called HTML and other web-based standard protocols and languages, but it runs in the browser, which is the actual program that's installed. A little bit more on the installed type of email client. So these programs are installed on the actual device, and they have to go through a certain amount of setup in order to send and receive emails. And one thing is that they have to be connected to an email server. That's usually at a specific location, such as a school or business, or it can be web-based, such as Gmail or Yahoo. Now, email servers use one or more of several protocols, in addition to the standard TCP/IP packet switching protocol, which we had mentioned in one of the earlier lectures. Another item that was created by ARPA in the 1970s were these email protocols. Now, the standard email protocols, the reason that I am actually mentioning them is because you do occasionally see them in email setups, even on mobile devices. So it's nice to have an idea of what they're talking about. The ones that are used by organizations that host their own email, in other words, they have their own server for email, is the two POP and SMTP. POP is Post Office Protocol. SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. If it's a web-based email server, then it would be using something called IMAP, Internet Message Access Protocol. Here are some examples of different email clients. First of all, the applications that are installed on the device. Apple Mail, which comes with the Apple operating system. Eudora and Mozilla are both free open source programs. Microsoft Outlook comes with Microsoft Office and the Office 365 suite. Opera Mail also is integrated with the Opera browser, and Windows Live Mail, which comes with the Microsoft Windows operating system. Some web-based examples are Gmail, which is what we've been using for our class, and that is free and ad-supported, and it integrates with other Google services, also mail.com, outlook.com, and Yahoo Mail. They all have the commonality that they're free and ad support as well. Outlook.com is a Microsoft product. It looks similar to Outlook, and it does integrate with OneDrive. It used to be called hotmail.com. Yahoo and Gmail are very similar, again, ad supported, and come with other services as well. So now let's talk about how the email process works. First of all, the sender creates a message using one of these apps we discussed. Then the outgoing email server is contacted using one of the protocols that we had mentioned. It's sent through the internet using the TCP/IP protocol, and it's received in the same way by a server and using one of those three protocols, and then sent to the recipient's device. Lastly, a mention on junk email, or what is known as spam. As I mentioned at the beginning of this lecture, approximately 45% or nearly half of everything most email accounts receive is spam. And these are the things that it usually consists of. First of all, unsolicited commercial email, which can be triggered by a number of things, including searches you may be doing online or purchases you've made. Fraudulent requests for money do happen from time to time. You have to watch out for those. If anyone is asking for money through email, it's almost certainly fraudulent and should be ignored. Phishing scams, which the above is really a type of that, is a scam not just necessarily asking for money, but specifically attempting to obtain personal information. And many people are fooled by this. These scams are often made to look like they're real or coming from a legitimate source, but they're not, and don't be fooled by them. Always check up on these things if you have any concern about it. There are also stock manipulation scams, and again, ads triggered by online purchases or shopping. That's very common. One of the most dangerous types is emails containing misleading hyperlinks. Now, these hyperlinks, as you see on the screen, are the ones that are usually underlined in blue. It depends on your browser setup, but that's the standard color for hyperlink. And you know it's a hyperlink too if you hover your mouse over it and something appears above it saying where it goes on the internet. Now, those can contain all sorts of things, including computer viruses, Trojan horses, malware, spyware, ransomware, and other generally nasty things. And these types of hyperlinks are very dangerous. You can actually track them down, like I said, by hovering the mouse over the link, but do not click it. When you do, you'll see an address show up, and then you can take note of that and do a separate search to see what that address in fact is. That's a relatively safe way to track down a hyperlink. You don't go to the actual address that it's showing, but do a search on it to see what other people are saying, and chances are it's going to be some sort of a scam, as most people will eventually write about that online if it happens to them. This concludes this presentation. This was a relatively short one, and be sure to complete the quiz after going through this presentation.